Excellent stuff. Just picked up the parcel that was sent to me from Australia from Ian and Christine, thank you very much, from Greenspeed, which contains my new wheel and king post. And well, we'll open up the box and get to work, I suppose. So that's one wheel and kingpin. Very nice. Yeah. Okay, so first off we've got to start to dismantle this one, I think. I would suggest when you're putting the disc back on that you apply some lock nut onto the screws to keep them firmly in. It's like you can either get it in a bottle, it's not that expensive, and just put a few drops on, and when you put the nut in it holds it in, but it locks it, but if you ever want to get it out again it's okay. It doesn't permanently glue it in, if you know what I mean. But it's a good safety measure. And also I would say be very careful when you're working on these, because the first time I ever worked on this one I chopped the top of my finger off, literally took a slice off the top. I span the wheel round and accidentally put my bloody finger near it. So I would really be careful when you're doing these. Now I've got this dynamo out, I can see a problem. If you spin it now, it is very, very cranky. There's no side movement in it, but it really is. You can feel that it's almost like it's rusty inside. It's very clunky. It doesn't run very freely. Let's see if I can spin the wheel. Can you hear that? Now we come to changing the kingpin, which is a very straightforward item. It's interference fit. So basically that's all. I've taken the brake caliper off to get the wheel off, and all we've got to do is undo the nut on the steering rod and make sure we don't turn it, so it should go back in. If this is casted in the same manner as the other one, it shouldn't need adjusting. Okay, we have the tracking rod removed, and now we're just going to slip out the old kingpin. It's nicely, it's in good condition actually. Like I say, there's no water gets in there, and if you keep it well lubricated on the lubricating nipple there, it shouldn't be a problem at all. It's in very good condition really. Okay, and now I'll slip the new kingpin in. Should go in quite nicely. There's still quite a lot of grease in there, so that should be okay. Yeah, nice fit. And we'll fit the rod back on again. And I would also suggest that you put a little bit of lock nut juice on the thread of this one as well. Again, it won't lock it in for life, but it does tend to help it if it does actually come loose, or to attempt to come loose. It will retain it. And once you've got the kingpin in, don't forget to replace the retainer on there. I think it also helps keep the grease in, that holds the brake wire in place. I'm a little bit worried about that though, because I've noticed quite a bit of damage, a bit of scuffing on the cable as it runs through there. I've put some black tape on there to try and protect the cable a little bit more, but I think it could need a sort of an insert in there really to keep it away from the metal, because it is rubbing its way through the actual plastic on the cable as you turn, as it turns backwards and forwards, it runs backwards and forwards. And I think I'll try and put a little bit of a rubber insert in there just to protect it, I think, this time round, and again on the other side as well. I've only pinched this one just to hold the top of the kingpin to stop it from sliding out for now, but I'll tighten this up when I think it's flat on the ground, and then you know the weight and everything is, you know, it's tight against it. Otherwise you could get a banging up and down if you leave too much of a space here, which wouldn't be very good for it. So I think if you let the weight go down onto the axle when you put the wheel on, and then tighten this bracket up, then you know there's no movement in the actual arm itself when you're going along. It's nice and snug. Okay, we have the wheel in. It's running nice and tight, and we'll now proceed to lock the wheel on. Again, I'll tighten that once I've got it flat on the floor. I like everything to sort of have its weight on it before I tighten everything up. So that's, always remember, I've got to tighten that one up, and I've got to tighten that one up once it's on the floor. Now we get to the bit I don't like, and that's shimming. We'll put the brake caliper back on, and that fits onto the back end, just at the back there, the two there, but you have to shim them in to basically, oh, I'll lose them. Basically you have to shim them so the brake caliper, if I put that way around, is straight to the disc itself, otherwise it rubs, which has been the reason why I've changed this wheel, because with the old Dynamo wheel we could never quite get it right. I'd shim it in and it would run well, go for a good 50-mile ride, come back and the brakes were rubbing, and it was the same every time, and just could not work it out. And you just don't get that problem on the other wheel. So I thought it was time to change the wheel over, and that's why we're doing the exercise we're doing today. I've actually put the caliper on without shimming it, just to see what the extent is, and it's not too far out, so with a little bit of luck it might need only a sort of thin washer either end, but we'll have a look. Right, I've just placed a thin shim in the back, and it's quite good actually. It's loosened it off, but as you can see, as you can hear, it's still touching, so it's just a matter of seeing what the front one is, and it might need another little one on the back. Again, I'd like to give you a little warning of your fingers, because you need to put your finger through the actual disc to hold the shim on, to get the disc back, the caliper back up onto the disc. So just be careful when you put your fingers in there, because that is so sharp. Like I say, I've cut my fingers on it before, so keep that well in mind, yeah. Well, that's the best I can shim it in. That's the freest, and I think it's the little touch on the disc is just where the brake disc has worn at a little angle when the other kingpin was in there, and the wheel, because obviously there's a difference. There's a lot of difference in the shimming between this one and the other one. But it's free. If I do it slowly by hand, there's no touch there really. There's no drag on it at all. There's only one section that's touching, a small bit there. I think you can hear that, but I think that is just the disc brake itself. So I think once we get to use it, that should free itself. If not, I can always shim it in. That's the main job's done anyway. Just a matter of putting the tyre in the inner tube now and tightening everything up. And obviously I've got to take all the wiring off for the actual lights. It's a pity really, but we never really use them. I think, well, we used them twice I think, and that was in the fog. And but I am pleased to have taken that off, because there is something wrong with it. Okay, we have it now back on the ground, and we've got it all in, got the tyre on, tyre pressure's right. Now I'll attempt to do up all the retaining Allen screws and the wheel and whatever, and then we'll have a look after that. We'll take the wiring off, I should think. That'd be the next job, strip the wiring out, and have to sort out some lights for the back. Last but least, I just grease the nipple on the drive there, so that's nice and lubricated now. One thing I hate, shimming and grease guns. So next thing now is really take it for a test ride. I've taken all the electrics off, all the wiring, which is a pity, but there you go, such is life. I've left the backlight on because it has my GoPro sticker on the back. It's the best place to mount the sticker, so I have to find out how to do that and remount that. That's the last of my worries. Anyway, we'll take her for a test run, I think. Yeah, well, pleased with that. There's a slight touch, but I still think that'll wear out in use. That'll straighten itself out. Other than that, I'm pleased.